Folks, for this week's Blues Brews Reviews, we are checking out the Kona Classic Pipeline Porter from Kona Brewing Company. And this one, I didn't even realize this was a porter until I looked it up on Untapped, but this one said on it with real Hawaiian Kona coffee. And I was thinking, well, that must mean it's a coffee beer. And then I read the side of it and it says porter brewed with Hawaiian Kona coffee. I like coffee flavored beers. I'm very much a fan of coffee flavored beers, especially if they're not too heavy. This one, brewed by Kona Brewing Company, is only a 5.3%. So it's a dark beer with only 5.3. Actually, I do not know. It might not be a dark beer. Haven't poured it out yet. I've had coffee stouts that are not dark. Surf into smoothness with Pipeline, a limited release Kona classic we're bringing back after waves of requests from our ohana. Real Hawaiian-grown coffee makes it as thrilling as surfing Oahu's legendary North Shore, with a finish that's smooth and relaxed, like watching brave wave riders glide through spectacular barrels. Paradise is just a sip away. All right. Oh, it is dark. That's a good-looking beer. That's a good-looking beer right there. I don't think Flashlight Test is going to do us much good today. Yet another dark beer, but I'm actually pretty excited about it. It looks very tasty. Honestly, this is a very photogenic beer. It's got a good head. Now, some people always say if you can float a bottle cap on the head, that means it's a nice thick one. I have a bottle cap right here, so... yeah, look at that. It's on there. That's a good head right there. For them saying it's a limited release, it's got a lot of reviews. First taste, here we go. Yeah, it tastes like coffee. It tastes like coffee if you like very thick coffee. I think this is exactly what I wanted this to be. It's very light. Like I said, I'm not the largest dark beer fan when it comes to very heavy stouts. I think it partly has to do with the fact it is only a little over 5%, 5.3. You know, it doesn't have a lot of chocolate to it. Like those really heavy, decadent flavors, I think are sometimes a negative when it comes to dark beer. Because they make it so much more rich and kind of change the flavor profile. I had one yesterday. It was from Founders Chocolate Porter. And that tasted so much like the bitterness you get from dark chocolate. And I didn't really like it. But this is really light. It's weird to say it's really light because it's a dark beer. Definitely if you don't like coffee, I don't think you'll like this. But if you do like coffee, I think you'll really enjoy it. It's got such a unique aftertaste because it doesn't have as much of a burn as you would expect from like a beer. You know, it doesn't have that like it's obviously got some carbonated flavor to it and you taste the alcohol, but the aftertaste is like you just took a sip of coffee and it's not unpleasant. Like I said, if you like coffee, you'll like this. If you don't like coffee, you won't like this. It's pretty straightforward like that. And really, like, you don't notice too much of the coffee even by the smell of it. A little bit. It kind of smells like whole coffee beans. Like, you know, you really don't get a lot of smell from whole coffee beans until you grind them up. That's kind of what I get with this. It's not crazy. Like, you would not, looking at this, you'd think, okay, it's dark, it's a stout, maybe it's chocolate flavored, maybe it's coffee. You wouldn't know until you tried it. And then you try it and you realize how light it is. Man, it's weird to say, like, I feel like I could chug this. Do it. I feel like I'm actually drinking this pretty fast in the middle of a review. I mean, I normally don't drink this much before I put it down, but it's just almost irresistible, I think is the term I would use. It's irresistible as in I don't want to put it down because I want to keep enjoying it. Man, and I mean, you can take as big or as small of a sip as you want and it still tastes just as good. That is really, really tasty. So let's think about this for a second. How do I want to try and describe the weird balance that this beer has? Because in my opinion, this sits in a very weird spot. When you hear the term porter and you think of a coffee porter, it's going to be very dark, but I think your mind typically goes in the route that it's going to be heavy, or it's going to be, you know, a lot to handle. You know, it's going to be unbearable. I feel like this is kind of an oxymoron of a beer because it takes that traditional script of this is what a coffee porter, it flips it on its head and it says, this does not have to be as heavy as you're making it. This doesn't have to be a serious beer. I'll say the term serious as in like, it can be something you just casually, you know, you just grab it and you drink it. I don't know. That really strikes as something that I really like. I said it before, I'm not a huge fan of really heavy beers. I'm not a huge fan of, I mean, I like dark, obviously I like this one. I'm not a huge fan of dark beers, but especially ones that are heavy. You know, if it's going to be difficult for me to drink it, I get less enjoyment out of that. So to take a coffee porter like this and to flip it and say, okay, here's this beer, but we're going to make it really light. We're going to make it really be more focused on like the roasty flavor. I don't know, that roasty, earthy coffee flavor, and less about the alcohol. And the alcohol's just like, it's there because it's got to be there, you know? And the main focus is on like that experience of drinking a coffee. I'm a huge coffee guy. I love coffee. So to have this, I feel like it really focuses on, you know, it focuses on the coffee. That's like the number one is the coffee in this. And then it's like, and also it's just a really good beer too, you know? The problem that I have with dark beers, and I've had this problem for the past couple days because we've been on a marathon of dark beers during our beer advent, is that I get tired of them. I'll drink like half of it, and then I'll kind of go, well, I'm just gonna let it sit because I don't want more of it yet. And then I forget about it, and I get tired of it. I think it's just something I'd actually like. Look at how fast I've been drinking this one. I'm almost halfway done with that, and I haven't even started writing about it. All right, I'm already out of characters. I can't believe how fast I can go through characters on this. Okay, this beer is very unique. Kind of an oxymoron coffee porter because this is so focused on the roasty flavors of coffee and less about making a bold beer. It's extremely well balanced and quite light, which makes this so easy and enjoyable to drink. And then I'm going to say big fan. Oh, I can't. I'm out of characters. How do I rate something like this? Average rating is 3.7. God, I got to give it like a 4.5, probably. So the way I am on Untapped is I've never given something a 5, because once I put a 5, what if I have something better than that one? Then I can't go any higher. So the highest I've ever given anything is a 4.75. I've given maybe 2 or 3 beers a 4.75. But out of anything, I think because of how much this shifts my idea of this genre of beer, I think it needs that 4.75. If this was just a normal wheat beer, let's say a fruit beer, I don't know, whatever my favorite style of beer is, if this is like an Oktoberfest, I would give it a normal rating because, yeah, it's good at what it is. You know, it's like, it's a good Oktoberfest. But I think because it's in a category that I don't typically really enjoy, and I really enjoy it, that means it must be outstanding. You know, it's able to push past the barrier that I've put for dark beers and excel above that. And I think it totally deserves that score. Flavor profile, it's coffee, it's smooth. I'm not even going to say it's dark. Dark is one of the characters we can give it. I'm not going to say it's dark. I'm going to say it's light. It's definitely not strong. I'm going to say it's balanced. And it is roasty. Here's the final verdict, chat. I kind of, you know, I've been blown away recently by a lot of the beers we've reviewed. I think this one kind of takes the cake. What is my highest ranking beer? Okay, it's actually kind of funny because the other one that's at a 4.75 is a milk stout. So the 2 4.75s that I have are actually dark beers, milk stouts. So 4.75s for both of those. I only have 2 of them. This was the second 4.75 I've ever given, and well deserved. I mean, it is so good. Thank you guys for watching this episode of Blues Brews Reviews. Very, very, very impressed with this one. A new favorite, easily. Cheers.